You're listening to Swingology, a lifestyle podcast. Swingology is for adult entertainment only, and we're not licensed professionals. Our show features adult themes, language, and descriptions of sexual acts and desires. If you're under 18, this is not the show for you. The ideas and opinions expressed are those of the speaker only and not of any company or entity, and should not be considered professional advice. Now, let's stimulate your mind.
Welcome back to another episode of Swingology, a lifestyle podcast. We're your hosts, Tori Kist
and Steve Kist.
And today we're going to be talking about being on the November 2025 Bliss Cruise, Day 5. So, yesterday we woke up, we recorded our episode for the previous day, and went to brunch. Now, we were going to originally go to Blue, but they were closed. We got there a little late. So then we found ourselves up at the buffet breakfast area. I don't know the name of this one, but anyway, Steve, what do you remember about yesterday morning?
The buffet is called Ocean View, and it's on deck 14. While we were loading up our plates, I ran into a couple that I know has been messaging us, and we ate breakfast with them, and they are in the lifestyle. They travel the world all year round, but they only swing on the Bliss Cruise. That's the only time they swing is on the Bliss Cruise.
So that's an interesting boundary that they have. After breakfast, we decided to go on to land. So yesterday we were docked at St. John's, Antigua.
We originally had an excursion bought and paid for, except it wasn't through the cruise line. It was through...
Actually, this one, my love, was through the cruise line. That's the only reason we were able to refund it before.
And through the chat groups that we were on, there was suddenly a mass exodus from many of the catamaran excursions. And it had been learned through the chat groups that a lot of the catamarans that we were going to be on were going to involve a lot of kids from the Disney cruise line that was also docking at port on the same day. And so imagine lifestyle adults who would prefer if we could talk to the captain about going topless on the catamaran now has to control not only their clothing, but their behavior and their conversations because half the ship is going to be filled with kids. So there was mass exodus of excursions, and we were one of them.
Okay, so yeah, we had originally booked the excursion through the cruise app, and about a month ago before the cruise, we learned that maybe not. Maybe we're not going to do this after all. So we canceled it and decided to wing it on land. So we got off the cruise ship and we walked into town. And it's just like any other island cruise port. The same type of shops, the same type of atmosphere. At the end of the cruise terminal, we found ourselves at like a little taxi stand, and we were not really bombarded, but a lot of people were asking us if they wanted to give us a taxi, if they could give us a taxi ride somewhere. They were giving us pictures of beaches and all of that, and we asked, okay, how much is it to go to the beach? And the first person was like $40 per person. My husband's like, no. Then the guy was like $25 per person. And I was like, okay, well, how long is the drive? And he said 25 minutes. I'm like, no, we're good. And so we kept walking. Another taxi driver, stopped us, $10 a person. I'm like, okay, fine. We'll go to the beach for $10 a person. So we loaded up with a Disney cruise family into his minivan, and they drove us way more than 25 minutes to the beach. And my husband and I walked on the beach for a while. We touched the ocean water, and we weren't really vibing there. It's a beautiful beach, not too deep of like a sand and water area. It's beautiful. And there's rocks, and if you wanted to take pictures and whatnot. But we are fair-skinned, as you guys know. We've mentioned this before, so we don't like being out in the sun very long. We decided, let's go ahead and just stick close to the cruise terminal and the cruise ship. We went back to the little taxis that had dropped us off at the beach, and we're told to wait for more passengers to want to go back. So we were waiting.
When we were waiting for the taxi to return, our taxi driver to get off the chair and take us, waiting for another group of people to want to go back, one taxi pulled up.
Another one did, a new one.
Unloaded a bunch of people, and I waved that taxi driver over, which the current taxi driver that was sitting next to me waiting for other people, he didn't like that very much.
He jumped right up in front of you.
And he said, "Oh, that's Curtis. I know him. We're buddies. He owes me. You pay me and you go with him." That way you don't have to wait.
Something about that was fishy, and I was like, no, I think we need to go talk to the driver. And he's like, no, he'd take you for me. And he was like kind of mean about it, a little like, I'm controlling the situation here about it.
Yeah, he was aggressive and took our money, walked over to that taxi driver, spoke in their native language. The taxi driver then let us in and started driving us back to port.
With another couple.
So 5 minutes into the ride, I was explaining, our experience at the beach and how we paid the other guy for the taxi driver there and how we paid the same guy for the ride back to the port, which the driver immediately was like, no, you just got scammed. You pay me money to drive back to port. The driver made it seem like he was going to take care of the situation between him and the other driver, and the other driver had scammed us. Anyway, so we go on and on about scams and how prevalent they are and how you protect yourself and yada, 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 yada. And then wouldn't you know it, before we get to the cruise terminal, we can kind of see it in sight. The van gets pulled over.
By the police.
Right. And they immediately lay into this guy in English so we can understand that he's not a real taxi driver.
They demand him to peel off his taxi sticker from his driver window.
So his taxi sticker that was,
labeled?
Yeah, it was a labeled taxi sticker, got ripped off and destroyed. And then we were forced to get out of the taxi.
Well, no. I asked the police officer lady, because she was looking back at the people, the passengers. I said, can I please get out? She's like, yes, you get out. And so he had to let us out. But he was really originally trying to, I felt like he was trying to scoot, out of that conversation with the cop. He wasn't.
Yeah, he didn't want to be there. He was trying to, almost bribe her. And because you can tell he was, in an apologetic voice, right? He
came across at first as confused. I don't have any papers. Are you talking about papers?
Right. He's like, what do you mean I have to be licensed? He was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
So then we decided to stroll the town.
So we get out of the van. We don't have to pay the taxi driver. And then it was like, well, I guess we're going to walk the rest of the way back to the cruise terminal. We get back to the ship. And what do we do then?
We went to the spa. I think we got some lunch and we went to the spa.
So the spa was nice. Again, we went and did the sauna and then cold therapy. We lathered each other up with a scrub. It was very erotic.
There were a lot more people in there as well, so we made conversation and socialized.
And then after that, we got back to our cabin, changed, and got out there.
We had a meet and greet. We actually had 2 meet and greets. We were trying to make them both. We only made it to one of them. So yeah, we went to the meet and greet. Made some more friends and more connections. They were like, let's go to the playroom right now. And no, we can't do it right this moment because after this, we have another thing we have to do. So they all went off to the playroom.
Well, we could have gone.
I was already ready in my sexy dress for dinner because I didn't know how long the meet and greets were going to take. So if I had gone to the playroom, I would have had to shower again, do makeup again, hair again. Everything would have been starting over. So I was kind of stuck. I felt like, no, I couldn't go to the playroom. Unless I didn't want to care about looking nice for dinner, in which that was more of the highlight for me, was going to dinner that particular night.
My wife's outfit was rocking fire. She had lacy black panties on.
Very cheeky.
And she was wearing a sheer dress. And when I say sheer, you could see some of the freckles on her skin.
You could see my belly button.
You could see her belly button. You could see the lace of her underwear. And her breasts were covered with a thicker, pinky up high-class fabric. It was nice. It was very sexy. And she walked around the cruise ship with that and even went to dinner with it.
And, okay, so for dinner, on night 1 of this cruise, we met a really nice couple. They're also podcasters, and they sat at the table right next to us in the Blue restaurant, and we scheduled dinner, and that was what we did last night. So we went back to Blue, a special date with them, connected even more, learned about each other's play styles, lifestyle origin stories, etc., And it was lovely getting to know this couple more. And okay, so after dinner, did you want to talk about dinner at all, my love?
I mean, only that they wanted to play right after dinner. And one of the conversations during the dinner kind of made my wife feel a certain way. And it was that, like, you know, you go on these cruise ships and you spend 1 or 2 meetups getting to know them, and then nothing happens and you get upset about it. And it was like, well, I guess I could kind of understand, but at the same time, when you're sitting next to someone who needs to vibe and get to know people and does not like expectations.
There's 3,000 to 5,000 people on this ship. If you're going to dedicate your energy into vibing with only one person, you're closing off all these other options. If you are a DTF person, then be DTF with people that are also DTF.
Right. I mean, my wife left the dinner really liking this couple.
Yeah.
If they were our neighbors, we would probably end up being best friends with them.
Yes, I totally, really am vibing with these people. And I can see myself going there eventually. I just
am not going to do it at that moment.
Yeah.
That's all. There's more opportunity for them to hang out with my wife today. And, you know, my wife's the kind of person where if you get to I'm not opposed status, and she's already there with them now. She's like, I'm not opposed to playing with them.
I'm interested.
It's not like they don't have an opportunity. It's just that now something organic needs to occur for that to come out.
You know what? Because I played on day 2 of this cruise. Mm-hmm. I feel like the missing link this time around is their flirtation is not there. So like there's simple conversation and there's greetings and he leans in for a kiss and I kind of feel like I should be kissing longer than I do, but I feel like that's on me to lead, which is, you know, interesting by itself. But there's not much flirtation, you know, playful banter. There's not much of that.
There's no looks. There's winking.
Definitely eye contact.
No,
but eye contact isn't just for, you know, there needs to be something more for me. It's like you're so close.
Footsie under the table or...
That would have been perfect. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not telling you to give anyone pointers. I'm just letting you know where I'm at right now. Like, I like things to be organic. So if I know you give pointers, I'm like, no, this is not organic then.
I hear you.
So anyway, after dinner, we came back to the room so I could put on my rock and roll outfit because the theme was rock and roll. And I somehow fell asleep, guys. I fell asleep.
Well, okay. So my wife has a conversation with me about taking a nap. And I said, well, you can take a nap.
It was 7:30.
And she was like, well, what if my nap was like 2 hours long?
Party starts at 10.
I was like, well, then you would miss a little bit of the meeting and then you'd show up around 10 or 11 and you'd have a great time with me and whoever else was going on. And she's like, that's probably what I want to do then.
Yeah. So I told him, bring me pizza when you're done at the next meetup and I will slowly wake up to pizza. That should help wake me up, like get me going. I'll have some Pepsi and because we brought on our own 12-pack of Pepsi and then I'll go out and vibe.
All right. So it's 7:30. My wife is going to take a nap. She's not sure if she's going to be able to go to sleep because we just gave her like a ketone shot and we just had dinner, so maybe she would bounce back real quick. I also kind of thought in the back of my mind that this might be just her way of wanting to have a solo experience. And she might be thinking she might be getting ready to take a nap. And then after I leave, she'll change her outfits, get super sexy, and head out onto the floor. And it'd be like a surprise to see her.
Yeah, that was also an option because remember, I'm a vibey person. I kind of just follow where the vibes take me. And so like on one hand, I was thinking, okay, I could close my eyes and sleep for an hour and go find my husband out there. Or maybe my husband leaves and within 5 minutes, I'm like ready to go. I'm like, I'm just waiting to feel what my body wants me to do, right?
So after I leave and she has the total freedom to make whatever choice she wants, I message the people we've made connections to. And at this point, my wife has developed a reputation on the cruise ship, as she did last year, for sleeping early. And it was just kind of disheartening to me to read some of the responses to the quote unquote friends. One of them straight up replied, "Is your wife with you?" Because I asked, hey, where you guys at? I would like to hang out. Just hang out. I'm not asking to play. I'm asking to hang out, have
be my friend,
fun conversation. I can be pretty funny on occasion and goofy and dorky and dad jokes galore. But is your wife with you? ? And I said, no, she's taking a nap. Location never given.
Like they just ghosted.
Yeah, and I never heard from them for the rest of the night.
Some friend.
whatever. And so obviously you go through not one but two types of those messages, and you're like,
The rejection.
wow, these people were like really don't give a shit about me. It's like they really are only interested in and I get it. My wife is fucking fire hot. I get that. But like, anyway, I felt a certain kind of way about that. So I go to the Sky Lounge. There is some kind of game show going on. I'm just standing near the entrance, and I'm getting all kinds of attention from people I haven't met yet.
Oh, nice. Okay.
This couple walks by. They're both younger than me. I can clearly tell that. The woman says something to the husband, points at me as she's already past me. Husband looks at me, turns around, walks back to me and says, "What are you doing right now?" And at the time, I had messaged the unicorn that had attached herself to our profile, and she was going to meet with me, and we were going to go off to the playroom. So I relayed that information to him, and then he said, okay, well, maybe we'll catch up with you later. And then they started walking away. And I realized I had just gotten chosen for something. So I pulled out our cabin card, our slut card or whatever, and I ran up to him and said, hey, listen, if you're not okay with that dynamic or whatever, here's my card. We can connect later and maybe do something later. And he said, oh, great. That would be great. We would love that.
Perfect.
And so obviously the friend that was coming was a dynamic that they did not want to be involved in. So the unicorn arrives stumbling into the event.
Oh, no.
Like wine glass in hand, swaying heavily. Well, of course, the boat swaying, right?
Yeah, there's
a
lot more
when
sways this
you're
time.
kind of tipsy and the boat swaying, it just exaggerates the body movements heavily, right? And so she's slurring her words. She's not completing complete sentences. And she's like, you ready to go?
Oh, my gosh.
I was like, well, some of the people that I had met in that room
While you were waiting for her?
while I was waiting for her had said, hey, when she gets here, bring her over. We'd like to see her and maybe we can go off to the playroom together. So I told her that and she was like, yeah, that's a great idea. Who are they? More dicks.
Oh, gosh.
I was like, okay. Oh, my God. And at that point, it was when I realized that she's kind of probably too intoxicated.
Yeah.
So,
because she's normally super fun and flirty and cheerful, and this was...
Yeah, this was a different version of her.
We all get there. Wine can be so tasty sometimes, and before you know it, you should just be in bed.
Exactly. So anyway, I introduced her to this couple. The wife is on the fence, I can tell by body behavior.
Right.
But the unicorn is interested, and the husband is not interested.
Oh.
Of course. So the husband's not interested. The wife turns the unicorn down. The unicorn looks at me and goes, I got denied.
Oh, no.
I was like, well, what happened? Because I didn't hear the part of the conversation. And she goes, the wife asked if the husband wanted to go to the playroom with us. And the husband said, I need to get a drink. And they left. That means that's a no.
Right.
She's like, listen, I'm going to work the room, get more dicks, and we're going to meet at the playroom. I know at that point, I am not touching this woman. This is not going to happen.
Okay, so explain to the listeners why you're not going to touch this woman.
Okay, so the reason why I wasn't playing with her is because I've played with her before. She's bringing a different vibe because of her intoxication. The level of intoxication isn't attractive. And things can happen that are unintentional when you're at that level.
She becomes a wild card.
Yeah, there's just a liability there that no one should accept. What she needs to do is go to her cabin and sleep it off a little bit. That's all. It's not a big deal. You're on a cruise ship. You're having a great time. You drink a little bit. That's okay. But when you get to the point where she's at, you shouldn't be trying to it's almost like you could take advantage of her, right? And so it's just not something, that's just not my vibe. I'm not that type of lifestyler.
So how did things end up?
When she went to go work the room, quote unquote, I turned 180 and went out the other direction and went out the room.
Okay. Did you find other friends also?
So I left the Sky Lounge. I wandered the ship a little bit, ended up on the 5th deck and was looking over the railing at some other party going on. There was a rock band playing music in this little dance area, and there's a bunch of people congregating there. And I was just people watching for a little while.
People watching is always great.
I noticed people that I knew down there, went over there and talked to them for a little bit. Of course, the first thing everyone asks is, where's your wife? And so I'm telling them this thing where, well, she could be wandering the ship right now, or she could be in the middle of a 2-hour power nap. I have no idea. It just got to the point where like everyone was asking me, where's your wife? Where's your wife? Where's your wife? I started feeling a certain kind of, maybe I was just getting in my head about it. I don't know. I then found a female cabin couple that we had been chatting with, walked over to them and said, hey, we're finally able to meet. And she goes, yeah, I've seen you on the ship 3 or 4 times. I've never seen your wife. I'm at this point, I am convinced she doesn't exist.
You're already down. Hit him while he's down. And now you're even more down.
And she's like, I really don't think your wife is real. I think that maybe she left you or whatever, that she's not here.
Ouch.
And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to sit here and try to convince you, but all I got on me are some photos from last night's event. And so I went through some photos. She's like, okay, obviously she's here. That's good, at least. I would love to meet her.
I would like to meet you too.
We chatted for 15 or 20 minutes, got to know each other a little bit. Her favorite thing about being in the lifestyle is being a unicorn to couples. She had been a unicorn for a few years and hosted parties at her house with her ex, and they did it every weekend, and they did that for years. And eventually they split up for whatever reason. Now she's a unicorn again, doing the thing that she loves the most. She said that she had singled us out. She would like to meet my wife, see where things go. And I told her we would be at the lawn rented cabana thing, and she should meet us there.
That should be fun. Is that when you brought me pizza? Because you did come back to the room with pizza.
I had met another couple that I had chatted with in the
meeting
groups.
Everybody, baby.
Yeah, I was meeting a lot of people. I was socializing, and you know, I'm okay at it.
So talk to the introverts and that are listening. How do you meet people when you're a single guy? Well, you're not a single guy, but you're wandering the ship as a single guy. How do you meet people?
Well, in this situation, I had met people, mostly the ones that I'd been talking to, mostly through the group chatting that had taken place before the cruise started.
Okay.
Right?
So you're finding these people by picture.
This couple approached me and said, hey, are you Steve and Tori? And I said, yes. And they're like, we've been chatting on this group thing, and we've been looking for you on this ship, and we're finally glad to see you. And I'm like, great. And where's your wife? She's taking a power nap. Okay, that's fine. They go on and on and on about how they've been looking forward to seeing us, and the dynamic that's in our profile indicates that I like to play with couples, and that's what they're primarily interested in. And they'd listened to an episode or 2 of the podcast. The wife is all fangirling me, and they want to leave immediately and go play, but they can't because they had a date, and they're waiting for their date to arrive. It was a really great feeling to receive after so much like you're nothing without your wife feelings. Aww. You know?
Yeah, I'm glad they came around.
That made me feel good. And I was like, I'm going to end this on the high note. My wife had said that when I go back to the room, grab some pizza. So I did that. Grabbed some pizza, went back to the room, and kind of like woke her up with the aroma of pizza. You know how like you do it in the morning with eggs and bacon? So I'm like wafting the smell of pizza in front of her face, and she's like, what are you doing?
I was actually waiting for him to talk to me. I was waiting for gentle touches on my back. I was waiting for, honey, it's been 2 hours. It's time to wake up. Something like this. But there was no sound, and there was no touching. So I noticed the light turned on and I smelled pizza, but there was no sound, no touching. I was really confused. So I'm like opening my eye like, what is it? Huh?
What do you want? What's wrong? Why are you here?
Where's my husband?
Anyway, so...
Well, at that point it was midnight.
Yeah, we were approaching midnight.
Something like that. And I eat my pizza slowly. I'm trying to wake my body up a little and start drinking some Pepsi, and my body's not ready to get up. My body is not ready to get up. And I'm on one side, I'm kind of bummed. I'm like, I could try to force myself, but I've done that before, guys, and I just end up in bed sooner. So I'm like,
The next day.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm like, I've got to stay here. You continue to go out.
So I was on the fence. I'm like, maybe I'll just stay with my wife, or maybe I'll go out. Some of the conversations I had when I was bouncing around was like, hey, listen, we're interested, but not right now, maybe later.
So on your phone, you're texting people.
So I messaged those few people specifically.
Okay.
I don't know, within 10 or 15 minutes, one of them responded and said, meet us at our cabin, which I was happy to do.
And it wasn't too far away.
Yeah, it was like right across the hall. I didn't know it at the time, but I had forgotten my room key. Made my way over to their cabin, walked inside. We vibed a short bit. We talked about boundaries, which there were none, and that the husband was very interested in me putting his wife to bed through exhaustion via sex.
Oh my gosh, you're the perfect person for that.
So I was like, challenge accepted. Immediately, we start giving the wife attention, direct attention.
How so?
We both start, he starts kissing her from the front. I start kissing her neck from behind.
Uh-huh.
I start undressing her from behind. I reach forward. I'm caressing her body. I reach up, grab her throat, tilt her head back. The husband starts kissing the neck.
Nice.
So that continues on. I pick her up. Well, no, the husband turns her around, faces me, and she starts kissing me, right? At some point, I pick her up and toss her onto the bed. And she was like, oh my God, that was the first time anyone picked me up on the cruise ship.
Aw.
I was like, okay. I kind of thought, I always like the feeling a woman gets when she gets picked up and tossed onto a bed.
It's fun.
Yeah. Within, I don't know, 10 minutes, we're in a squirting situation where she's on her fours. She's getting ready to squirt. The husband's watching from the corner at that moment, not participating. He's like, no, stop, wait. And of course, she's already squirting a little bit. I stop immediately, thinking something's wrong. The dude like dives in between her legs and says, on me, on me. And I'm like, okay,
let's keep going.
And so, she's like, but I'm done now though. And I was like, what did you just say? And then go right back into it. And then she starts squirting all over the place. And the dude comes out like drenched, right? He was like, that was amazing. And I'm like, well, I like a dirty girl, so flip over. So of course she's covered herself, right? And the husband's now covered, and I flip her over, and so I start reeling her. It was a great time, great energy. Loved the experience.
Yes.
And then at one point we're taking a short 5-minute break, and I was like, if you can squirt for fingers vaginally, you can also squirt through fingers anally. And they were like, what? I was like, well, yeah. Don't you know? And they're like, no, what are you talking about? And I'm like, so you hit the G spot with your fingers, right? You reach in, you curve your fingers up, and you touch the spot, and you squirt. So you can hit that same spot through the anus. You just have to push up more and push through more material, and you'll hit the same spot. So what does that feel like when you're hitting that same spot, but you're hitting it through the other opening? I made it a scene. I'm like, all right, husband, sit here. You're going to watch.
Feels amazing.
Yep. Wife, lay on your back. Remove the pillow. Everyone set. Production. Go. So, of course, it was a great little 40 seconds because that's how long it took.
Yeah.
And so they had a first experience there. Okay. They went on and on about how that was great and amazing. The husband goes, I want you to ride him. Oh. I was like, okay, I love a rider. I'll sit there and take that energy. So I am watching the wife ride me. And then the husband goes, wow, we're getting into a lot of details this time, aren't we?
Okay.
Anyway.
No names. I like hearing what you did.
So the husband goes, we're going to try DP.
Ooh.
And the wife goes, really? You think I'm ready for that? And he goes, we're doing it. And she goes, okay, we're doing it. It was very touch and go there for me for a minute because it was clear they had not done it before. Her facial expressions was one of pain. Mm. And I'm sitting here underneath this woman giving facial expressions of intense pain and words of, no, this isn't happening, or go slower, or no, stop, and stop it. And then the husband would stop 10, 15 seconds and start inching or doing something to where we're making more progress again. And then at some point, her face goes from pain to, oh my God.
You know what? When you said that, the ship just kind of went synced down into the wave when you said that. So it was like I was feeling it. So she felt the pleasure of the stretch.
She felt the release of the stretch. Yeah. And so we continue that position for, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 minutes. The husband orgasms, the wife orgasms. And it was a great first time experience for them, right?
Awesome.
Me and the wife continue playing after the husband finishes, and we had a great time. At some point, we took a water break, and the husband took a shower. The wife and I continued playing a little bit more. The husband comes back. The wife was like, I'm just going to say this, and I'm going to say this out loud, and I'm going to say this with him here. This has been the best play experience we've had with another person ever. I'm like, oh, thank you guys. That means a lot.
I'm so glad that they had that experience
And
with
I'm
you.
like beaming like a little child. Like my face is just like Christmas morning, and I'm like, thanks, guys. And they were like, okay, so we found the next best thing, and you're going to see us every night, and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well,
You're booked for the next week.
you guys are amazing, but depends on what my wife's doing, Okay, so I got dressed. I left their room, and I realized I didn't have my room key. So I went back to them. I was like, hey, is my room key in here? And they're like, no. Went back to the cabin thinking, all right, I'm just going to have to wake my wife up. I know she's going to not like it, but you know what? She needs to rally anyway because it's time. So I start knocking on the door with little knocks first. Knock, knock, knock. Making little sounds. Knock, 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 knock. And then I start knocking harder. And then I start banging on the door. And I bang, 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 bang. And then it was that time the neighbor, of course, think about it. It's like midnight something. The neighbor... No. At that time, it was 3:00 in the morning because I was in that cabin for a while. The neighbor opens the door and is like, are you okay? And I'm like, I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. I will stop. I'm going to leave and go get the replacement key from the cruise ship because I lost my key. It's in the cabin. My wife's in the cabin. She's sleeping. The neighbor starts pounding on the door themselves. And pow, 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 pow. I was like, oh my God, please stop. I'm going to go get the key. I don't need any more neighbors waking up. So I go down. I get a replacement key. I come back up. I open the door and my wife is not in the cabin. Of course she's not in the cabin. I'm like, wait. Well, that explains why she didn't wake up. I go out to the patio to make sure, maybe she in the patio, the balcony. Nope, not on the balcony, not in the bathroom. I'm like, okay, she's obviously not here. Wait, she's not here.
Yep.
And I got all excited. I'm like, she's out and about. Yeah. So I'm like, I leave. I go open the app, and it was officially the first time that the Wi-Fi was down on the ship. It was widespread. And I'm like, wait,
no messages.
I can't contact my wife right now.
I'm not there.
She's out on the ship doing whatever, and I can't find her.
Well, here's the thing. It's 3 in the morning.
I was like, this is going to become a game of Where's Waldo real quick.
Oh, my gosh.
So I write a note on the door. Ship Wi-Fi is down. I can't contact you to tell you where I'm at or where I'm going, and I can't find you. So I'm going to start searching the ship, right? There's a little note on the door. So I leave, and I'm like, what's the most likely spot my wife is going to be? And I just immediately went to stargazing. So I went to deck 15. I do a loop around the ship. Didn't find her. And I'm like, all right, next logical spot is where the food is. So she would have gone to the buffet, deck 14. I'm not too far away. And I'm traversing the 15th to the 14th floor, and I run into her. Like, yay, my wife.
Yeah, so very quickly after he left.
Wait, I have to say one more thing.
Okay, say one more thing.
When I saw my wife, mind you, I had just played, I don't know, 3 hours, 2.5 hours, whatever, with this other couple. My wife walks around this corner with a teal silky robe and lingerie. And she has got her hair done, her eyes did, her lips, her face is popping. She's got earrings. Her hair is in a bun. She looks like she just stepped out of a Centerfold magazine. And I just couldn't stop looking at her. Like, it didn't matter where we were going. I was just like staring at my wife like, you are the sexiest thing I've ever seen.
I love you.
And then, of course, she realized, like, what's wrong with my husband? Like, he's like into me way more than usual right now.
I'm expecting to find this tired dude kind of like dragging his feet back to the cabin, but nope, he immediately just perked right up. And
so she starts teasing me, right?
Oh, it's my story. I have to talk now.
All right.
It's my turn.
I'm just excited because it was amazing.
Okay. So when he left me to fall back asleep after eating the pizza, within about 25 minutes, my brain just kind of woke up. I was awake. It was pitch black, dark in the room. The neighbors started making a little bit of like banging noises, like they were walking across on the cabin floor, and they're not being quiet. But besides that, my brain was awake, and I was ready to go be social. The only problem is that it was 3:00 in the morning, and everyone else is probably going to sleep at that point. So I decided, you know what? It's okay. I'm going to be me. Put on my costume for the rock and roll night. Realize, I don't like it. Put on different lingerie. Realize, no, I don't like it. So I go through like 5 different lingerie changes at 3:00 in the morning. Do my makeup, do my hair, put on my pink fluffy slippers, and I'm out. I leave. First thing I do is Sky Lounge. That place normally is open super late. There's normally music going on in there. So I go to Sky Lounge. All the lights are completely on. Staff is congregated in the bar. They're obviously closed. I'm like, okay, Sky Lounge is closed. What's next? The pool. I'll go to the pool area. Sometimes people are out there. No, pool area is being washed down, water hoses. There's no lights on, no music. Okay, fine. What else do I have? I go down to like what's called the Sunset Bar. It's a bar at the very end of the ship, and they typically have music out there. So I go that direction. But the vibe is not my vibe. There are maybe 30 couples max out there. The music is really loud EDM music. Now, if it was a little quieter, I maybe would have perched myself somewhere and been social, but it was way too loud. And the crowd seemed to be vibing at a level that I was not vibing at. I'm just going to put it that way. So I'm like, okay, next, let's go to another area. There's got to be more than 30 people, 30 couples awake on the ship right now. I did find some people in the elevator that were bright-eyed and bushy-tailed like I was. They had taken a 7-hour nap just like me, but they were trying to find food. I didn't need food. I find myself in these different areas of the ship just perching and people watching. There's 8 elevators in this corridor. Like, how do you describe it? There's this open area of the ship where you can see all the levels, right? And there's seating little nooks on each level, and you can see the elevators going up and down, the glass elevators. So you can kind of see almost everyone, all the activity, almost. So I perch myself there, hoping eventually to find my husband or friends that I have been introduced to. My husband has a lot more friends than I do because I'm not active on the app by choice. It's just too much for me to handle. So I meet these people in person. And so I'm looking for people that I've either met or my husband. I think about an hour goes by and I'm not finding a party. I'm not finding anyone to vibe with. I figure, let me just go back to the cabin. So it's about a little bit after 4:00. I come back to the cabin and there's this note on the door. The Wi-Fi's out and he's looking for me. So I go in the cabin. He's definitely on side, not on the balcony. I'm like, okay, he's out there looking for me. This is interesting. This can be fun. So I write a note on the door back to him. I said, okay, with a little heart. And I go out into the ship. He has to find me somewhere. So where do I go? I go to the elevator. I go down one floor and the elevator door opens and he's right there at the bottom of the stairs. And then the night for me, which at this point it was 4:20 in the morning, really began. I don't know. We were inseparable.
We were in love.
We were in love
that moment. At that moment, we were in love. It was like we were in love for the first time.
All over again. Like hearts were in our eyes. He was adoring me with this adoration. And
she was freaking on fire with her outfit.
But he was running too, so he was like sweating, like he was running down the stairs. I guess he was running to look for me or something. So I'm like, "Why are you sweaty?" He's like, "I've showered. This is not from post-sex. I was running to find you." I'm like, "Okay." So the energy was just on fire, honestly.
So we went out to deck 15 to the solarium deck.
He showed me this solarium deck. It's not a solarium deck.
It's called solarium deck.
Anyway.
No, wait, you're right. Solstice deck.
Solstice deck. He showed me this area that I haven't found yet. There's these super comfortable cottony beds under the stars, and you can literally just lay back and watch the stars. That's totally my vibe, and I had not found it. So thanks, babe.
I found it looking for you. So you're welcome. So we laid under the stars. Of course, when my wife's body is arched, looking up at the stars, and she's in her lingerie, and there's this sheer robes draping over her shoulders. Like, she just looks like she's posing, and I'm like, you're doing that on purpose.
I'm not. I'm honestly just trying to arch my back so I can see the sky. And I saw another falling star, so that's exciting.
Yeah, what the fuck ever. So she starts playing with her poses and whatnot, and like, we're on this bed, and so I'm like, I want you, and I want you right fucking now. And she's like, no, this isn't a play area. And I'm like, I don't give a shit.
He was definitely coming at me with some thirsty vibes, but I had just gotten myself pretty, and it was 4:00 in the morning. So I'm like, well, just not yet. Like, we'll play, just not yet.
All right, let's put it out there that we're awake. Is anyone else awake? We'll meet up with them.
Meanwhile, I'm looking at him like, I don't need anyone else. I'm with the person that I want right now. I'm good. Let's just be. Do you guys ever do that? Just be together? I don't know. I like just being.
I kind of like that, of course. So obviously no one responds anyway. I grab my wife and I'm like, okay, well, we're going to do something about this energy that we have.
Right. But I was thirsty. Remember, I needed a drink.
Yeah.
The bars were closed. I couldn't find a beverage anywhere.
So out of nowhere, some sculpted young guy comes out.
Think of an exotic.
Walks over to the corner of this dark area where you can see nothing and fills up a bottle of water. And I was like, oh, look, babe, water.
Yep.
So we fill up water, we drink, and okay, I want to do something with this energy. So now I'm escorting my wife back to our cabin, and I unleashed on her.
He let me get out my little needs to be. So like we stood over the pool deck, we watched the people wash it. People watched whatever we could do to people watch. He let me get out my awake energy before he brought me back to bed. Because after we had amazing sex, was it 2 or 3 orgasms?
I don't know. I wasn't counting. But anyway, after an hour or two, we crashed. That closed out the day.
It really did. And that was about 3 hours ago because we fell asleep and then we woke up and now it's the next morning. So I did want to catch the sunrise, in which I missed. But I did do something last night that I've never done before. I watched the moon go from one area of the sky clear across to the other area of the sky. I've never done that before that I know of. So that was really, really cool. Like, because you can see the sun go from one area of the sky to the other side because we're awake during the daytime. Well, this time I was awake during, I guess,
many hours of the night.
Many hours of the
watched
night.
It transition from one to the other.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Anything else we should talk about?
I don't think so. I think that about covers it.
I have a question for you, Steve.
Yep.
What is your favorite thing about yesterday on the Bliss Cruise?
You.
Technically, that was this morning.
I mean, it was before. It's from last recording to this recording, right? So that's what I'm going to have to count it as. Reconnecting with you, reclaiming sex, and that passionate energy that we shared after seeing you, after I was looking for you and you were lost. And I found you.
I was lost, guys.
And you were lost and I found you. That was by far the best.
Yeah.
For real.
I liked finding you too. And I liked our evening or early morning together. That was romantic and perfect.
That was great.
Let's go have another romantic and perfect day today, love.
All right. Well, in order to do that, we need to get out there and stimulate your mind.
Tune in next time to stimulate your minds. Thank you so much for listening to Swingology. I'm truly honored to have you as a listener. If you liked what you've heard, consider subscribing to our podcast or connecting with us on social media. The links can be found with the episode show notes. This is Tori Kist, reminding you to stimulate your mind.